Hey guys, FilmCrazyAdam here. To those of you that have just stumbled across this channel, I appreciate you rolling the dice and I hope you enjoy what you see. To those of you that continue to roll the dice for some reason, I really appreciate you coming back. I hope I can continue to entertain you, and I hope you continue to enjoy what you see. Anyway, pleasantries out of the way, let's get to the video that you really came to see. God! This fucking show! Oh my god! Fuck this show! God almighty! Crazy thing is this is probably the most palatable show that they've put out thus far. 7 episodes in, and they put out something that the CW would be proud of. This was a fantastic CW episode of the Hulk that had literally no male characters whatsoever in it. What? You say that there are male characters? No. There are literally no male characters in this episode, except for maybe the guy, Josh, I think his name is, from the wedding episode last week. This is probably going to be the shortest review I have because this episode has nothing to it. Let me tell you the entire episode. Here's the whole episode. Jen slept with Josh, and Josh got her blood, and that's it. Literally, with no exaggeration, that is it. That's the whole episode. Nothing else happened in this episode. Literally, nothing happened in the episode. So, that's all I got for you now. Okay, you want a little bit more than that. I've only given you like 2 minutes of a review. All right, fine. Like I said, I'm in it now just to see how bad each episode is going to be. Because once again, D Plus has outdone itself, and they have given me another episode that is god-awful terrible, but in a completely different, unique way than every other episode before this. This is crazy. This is really an accomplishment. I mean, in a sad, awful, pathetic crimes against humanity kind of way, but I mean, it's something. It's a hell of an accomplishment. I think it's also the lowest rated D Plus show that they have, which is really saying something. So, all right, let's just get into this episode. So, and I can break this down really quick, really easy, because literally nothing happens in this episode. There's kind of an implication that we're supposed to remember stuff from episodes long gone, and we're supposed to take stuff at face value that would never happen, ever, in the real world. So, I didn't mention this because it wasn't worth mentioning. At the beginning of the previous episode, episode 6, during the previously on, they make reference to the 4 guys that were wearing Asgardian construction clothing that jumped Jen, and at one point one tried to stab a needle into her, and she didn't, and she was She-Hulk at that point. Skin was too tough, it didn't penetrate. And so that was something that just kind of fell, it was something that never went anywhere. They never mentioned it again. I think that was in episode 2, so that was 6 episodes ago, and we've not heard anything or no mention of it or no furthering along until the end of last episode, episode 6, where the final scene was them building, you saw no faces, but you saw a device that was this gigantic, it's like magnum grade needle that we're looking at. We're like, well, obviously that's gonna get She-Hulk. That'll be able to penetrate She-Hulk's skin. Now, if She-Hulk has skin anything even remotely close to Hulk's skin, Bruce Banner's skin, which we're supposed to believe that she's better and more powerful than him in literally every way. So let's go with what the TV show has presented to us, and let's just assume that she's as tough, if not more so, than Bruce. Now, remember back in the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, and literally every appearance of Hulk, where he is just shrugging off. He's shrugging off things like 50 cal rounds. He's taking energy blasts to the face, and it's not blowing him up or tearing open his skin. So a needle of any gauge, it literally does not matter. It shouldn't be able to penetrate his skin, because we've already established that her skin is super tough and Hulk's skin is super tough, and she's better than Hulk, as good or better than Hulk. So nothing should be able to penetrate her skin. But that was the last thing that they mentioned in last week's episode. Flash forward to this week, and the guy Josh from the wedding. Okay, for the first 5 minutes, let me double check. I'm sorry, 4.5 minutes. Literally, the first 4.5 minutes of this episode is just a montage. It's just a music montage where it's just scenes going by with a song going over it. No dialogue whatsoever. And it's just Jen meeting Josh on multiple dates and them progressing in the logical manner of, it goes from, at the end of the night, it goes from like an awkward handshake, or it's like one's trying to give a handshake, the other one's trying to give a hug, and it's awkward, to the next night where she goes into her apartment and she's like, maybe there's, and then to the kiss, and then finally to him staying overnight. And she wakes up and he's not there, and so she starts texting him, and he has ghosted her. Plain and simple, he has ghosted her. And she becomes, for the entire episode, from the point that he sleeps with her, for pretty much until the last 2 minutes of the episode, she just becomes this pathetic, super pathetic woman who is now just constantly, obsessively focused on her phone, waiting with bated breath, anticipation, and just sheer patheticness that she cannot go a minute in her life without checking her phone to see if he's texted her back. The epitome of male-female codependency patheticness. They have once again taken this comic book character who I've learned since the series come out is actually really cool, and they've made her this pathetic, just sorry excuse of a person. Yes, I know there are real people like that, and for people who and even in the real world, that's not healthy. You to constantly be on your phone checking, again, literally like every minute. At one point, she's driving her car, and all she's doing is checking her messages while driving. Brilliant. And also, fantastic professionalism. Like, you're an adult. God all freaking mighty. But whatever. So for the first 5 minutes, we'll round it up and say 5 minutes of this episode. No, wait, let's see. Scrolling through. No, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. The first 6 minutes of this episode is just her obsessing with her phone. There is one brief instance where she meets Nikki, which, remember that big bomb that Nikki dropped on her last week about how there's this website that has all these death threats, and they're making fun of you, and it's a horrible thing, and we really should address this. Literally, Jen did not care. No one cares. Like, Nikki's literally the only one who actually cared and was blowing this out of proportion. It's a meme website. No one gives a shit. Now, I know that's going to circle back in, if not next episode, it'll be the one after that. Because again, we've got only 2 more episodes left. And so, yeah, Nikki, that whole thing that whole bomb that she dropped at the end of the last episode, nothing in this episode. Nothing. And they even mentioned this episode. Like, are you worried about it? She's like, no. And even Jen's like, no, it's a stupid meme website. Why should I care?
Oh, are you going down a rabbit hole on that intelligentsia site?
What? No, I don't care what a bunch of losers say about me online.
And let's see, fast forward. And so Blonsky. Remember Blonsky? Yeah, you remember Blonsky from episode 2 who turned in the Abomination once in that entire episode and didn't rampage and didn't fight She-Hulk. Remember that guy? Yeah. Well, he's on his little hippie compound, and he has an inhibitor on, kind of like Bruce had an inhibitor on his arm in the first episode, so that he could be human Bruce instead of Hulk Bruce, or Professor Hulk. And so Blonsky has one so that he can't transform into the Abomination whether he wants to or not, because he can control it and he can transform into it. But anyway, there's issues. And so his parole officer calls up Jen and says, hey, there's an issue. He's not picking up. I can't get in contact with this guy. His inhibitor's gone offline. And do you think you could come with me and see if there's an issue? And Jen is kind of annoyed. She's like, why? Why do I have to? And he actually has to spell it out for her. It's like, well, because he can transform into the Abomination, and it would be really cool if I had, like, a Hulk with me.
I was hoping you'd meet me there, just in case, you know.
In case the Abomination decides not to cooperate.
Yeah. I figure my chances of staying out of the ICU would be much greater if I had a Hulk there with me.
And Jen kind of like, all right, I guess I see where you're coming from. And so the guy's like, are you doing anything this weekend? Or are you doing anything today? And she once again checks her text message, and she's like, no, I guess not. And so she drives up to this compound. Again, this is the part where she's driving and she checks her messages like half a dozen times while driving this windy mountain road. Really safe, really smart. I kept hoping that she would roll the car, but I'm not that lucky. Yeah, she arrives, and so does the parole officer. And right away, Jen she is for the umpteenth billionth time, she is a professional. She's an adult and a professional lawyer in Los Angeles, California, at one of the most prestigious law firms in the city, if not the state. And she acts like she's a teenager. She rolls up and she starts honking her horn and yelling.
All right.
Oh, Jen.
Blonsky?
You're honking your horn at a 10-foot tall lizard monster.
No, doesn't walk up to the front door and knock or ring the doorbell like an adult or a professional. She acts like an annoyed teen, honking the horn. Where are you, man? Beep, beep, beep. Come on, get out here. It's like, what? But whatever. Moving on. Roll with it. And so the guy's like, maybe, and the parole officer's like, maybe not try to call out the giant lizard man guy. Maybe you want to Hulk up first. And Jen, again, didn't even, thought never occurred to her. And she's like, yeah, maybe that would be a good idea. Again, she's this idiot, this stupid freaking idiot. How can you be so stupid and be the main character? Why would the writers write this character? For once, this is one of those episodes where I'm wondering if a guy did come in. Well, no, a guy. You'll see why a guy couldn't have written this episode. But for a second, it's weird that the man is explaining the common sense stuff to the female lead title character. It's like, maybe we should do this. Maybe you should do that. I think it's kind of dangerous. Want to Hulk up? And you know what? There was no problem. There was no issue. Not really. There was just a simple malfunction. It was easy to reset the inhibitor, and we're good to go. So that's that. And go back outside, and the parole officer, he dips like a freaking trap door opens, and he is gone. He is out of there, and that's the end. We'll never see him again. Meanwhile, Jen is talking to Blonsky, and maybe this is my paranoia, but he's a villain. His character is a villain. Abomination is a villain. You're expecting that there's some kind of long con, that something's going to happen, and it never does. And some people might say, well, you're just expecting the worst, you're looking for predictability. But, like, why would you have a villain in your show if you're not going to do anything with him? And this kind of falls into how Disney has made every villain sympathetic, and everything is not their fault. They did it with Scarlet Witch in Doctor Strange 2. They did it with Wanda in, well, she's Scarlet Witch. In WandaVision, specifically, they did it with her. They did it with the movie Cruella, with the movie Maleficent. They go out of there in Thor 4. They make, what's his name? The Godslayer. They make him, it's ambiguous if he actually was, no, they actually kind of like imply like, well, it was the sword that was influencing him to do evil. It wasn't really his fault. He didn't want to do it, but the sword did it. So they're making all these villains not evil. They're villains. Come on. What are you doing? But whatever. Then you have Manbull and this other dude that just crashes through the underbrush and damages Jen's car. Yeah, you heard me. Just roll with it. Moving forward. Jen is trying to once again pathetically, dependently, trying to get signal on this phone. God, she is so pathetic. I cannot state that enough. That is so, God almighty. Have some, like, you're a strong, independent woman, aren't you? Fucking act like it. God all freaking mighty. But anyway, we're now going to spend the next 2 full minutes with another music montage where Jen is just walking around this estate trying to get signal. That's literally what she does for like 2 minutes. She just walks around trying to get signal. And then she eventually finds signal when she arrives at a building on the estate. And so after this montage, Jen finally finds signal when she stumbles across this building where she goes inside, and it's the only place on the entire estate where she has signal. And lo and behold, who is there? Blonsky and all the other people in this commune or on this retreat who are there to share their feelings. And you know what? They never explain what the fuck is going on here. It's not like it's not super villains. It's just weirdos. People who are maladjusted to society. One person had a lab accident. Manbull had a lab accident. And that's it. Literally, no one else here is a super being other than Blonsky. And they're sharing their feelings. And this is why I say literally there are no male characters in this entire episode. Not, even though Jen is, I can't even say technically, like Jen is supposed to be the only girl in this scene. She's not. Everyone here is a girl. Everyone here shares their feelings and talks like women. Men would never talk like this. They don't talk like this. They don't share their feelings like this. Or I should say, not this many men of varied backgrounds and varied walks of life. They would not all be on the same page as if they'd been drinking a box of wine for the last 2 hours. So no. This is not... This scene is stupid, and it lasts. I shit you not. This scene lasts for 15 minutes. Literally half the fucking episode is this touchy feelings, sitting in a circle, sharing our feelings. Half the whole episode takes place in this hut where they just share their feelings. And all of it is, each one of them has like weird problems that they're working their way through. Like one guy's, he calls himself a porcupine. He's in a suit. One guy thinks he's a vampire, even though it's daylight and he hasn't burst into flames and he doesn't have fangs and he doesn't show any kind of powers. And then this guy who thinks he's like they don't explain I don't know. Guy thinks he's a matador. And then Manbull, and for some reason there's a codependency. And then finally it circles back to Jen. Like everyone notices that Jen just keeps checking her damn phone. And oh, by the way. So one of the guys from the assault gang from episode 2 that tried to get Jen's blood, like the leader guy, is here. And Jen somehow recognizes him, immediately recognizes him. So this guy who assaulted her evidently has completely turned his ways. He's completely flipped his ways, and he is a good person now, and he was just in a rough spot. In fact, they never really say what his deal was. He's just like, you know what? I'm sorry. I was in a bad place. My feelings were all weird, and so I'm very sorry. Like, he apologizes like a little bit. Not even like a little bitch. Like, it's unbelievable.
Oh, hey!
This asshole and his friends attacked me behind my apartment.
Yeah, Jennifer, darling, I'm gonna need you to sit in the calming chair right now. Right now.
You drunk.
Fine. As soon as I'm out of there, I'm gonna rip this guy to shreds.
Oh, hold on. That is not how we work through our issues around here. Okay.
I'd love to work through our issues if you'll let me.
So that's why the entire time I'm watching this episode, I'm like, this is so unbelievable that he's got to be just putting her on. He's just blowing smoke up her ass, trying to get her off balance, trying to get her unfocused so that she's not expecting it when he does attack her. Like that big gauge needle that we saw at the end of last episode. Like she's gonna turn around, let her guard down, and he's gonna jump her. That's the only thing that makes any kind of sense. But it never happens. Jen throws his ass in the chairs, which should have broken his back. But everyone's like, Jen, calm down. And she's like, I'm gonna kill this guy because he assaulted me. And this is when he's like, he's like, you know what? I hurt you. I did something. I made you feel uncomfortable. I'm not kidding. This is dialogue. And I'm sorry for making you feel that way.
Real strength comes from facing yourself in the mirror and saying, hey, man, I'm gonna work on me. I didn't need a magic crowbar to give me a false sense of power. All it did was make me and my boys act like idiots. And I take radical accountability for my actions, and I'm very, very sorry.
No! Men don't talk like that! Not to just a random stranger. That's one thing if you're talking to a family member or a loved one, but that's a personal relationship with somebody you have deep feelings for. This is no. And so the rest of this scene after this point is like, Jen, why are you sad? Why are you angry, Jen? Like, why do you keep checking your phone, Jen? And she's like, well, I went after this guy, and there's this whole long speech where Jen is just like, woe is me again. Poor little me. Nobody loves me for Jen. Everyone just likes She-Hulk. That no one likes me. And she never has this epiphany. Which, if this happened in episode 9, even then, it's way too little, way too late. But, like, if she had this overarching story in the entire series where she is coming to grips that no one likes her for Jen, but likes She-Hulk for the persona and for the large greenness, that would be, and then like she decides to own that persona and make that her new persona, and if that would be one thing. It's not going to happen. But she keeps whining and complaining like always that people only like She-Hulk, people only want She-Hulk, that people only pay attention to She-Hulk, as if nobody would pay attention to her. You're a short ass woman with no abilities, nothing likable, you're annoying, your personality is complete crap, you're always complaining, you're always whining, you have nothing special about you, you're terrible at your job, you're completely unprofessional, everything about you is annoying.
Everyone pays attention when I'm this. Like, my colleagues, my boss, guys. Would they like me if I didn't have all of this?
And then you can transform into a 7-foot-tall mutant green person who can lift like a train over her head. Yeah, people might actually pay attention to that.
Like if I was just Jen, would the same guys who like She-Hulk stick around for Jen? Because some of them don't.
Yes, you are related to and now can transform into a member of, like the Hulk, who is a member of the Avengers, who saved the world. Yes, there is relationship status there. Because he did that, he saved the planet. and now you're related to him and you can transform like him? Yes. There is that thing with name where people have recognition, like, oh, you're related to this person. Yes, that's a thing. Stop acting like it's not. And stop. It's a thing that happens in the world. Is it fair? No. It's not fair that just because somebody has a certain name, or somebody's dad is the boss, or somebody in the past did something that now it's part of the name's recognition. It's not fair. It's not. But it's a thing. Like gravity is a thing. Get over it. You whining and bitching and complaining and pointing out that it's not fair is not going to change anything. So just go with it. But so the entire group is like, why are you, what's got you down in the dumps? And so she goes in this long whining speech that she can transform into this Hulk, and people only like her for that, and no one likes Jen for Jen. And then the entire group is like, but we love you for Jen.
Maybe this Josh thing hurts so much because you haven't been spending enough time with Jen.
I bet Jen is pretty damn great.
Maybe this Josh isn't the only guy who likes Jen Walters. Maybe there's a group of guys right here who would love to spend time with Jen right now.
Okay, Jen, do you believe that this group genuinely values the whole of you?
I do.
And there it is.
We all love you for Jen, right? Don't we all love Jen for Jen? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh. I'm going to drink heavily after this episode. Finally, Jen transforms back into Jen, or She-Hulk transforms into Jen. And, she's smiling and she feels happy because everyone has just stroked her ego to the point where it's just blown all over the place. And, oh, God, like the scene where she talks about this guy, Josh, who loved her for Jen and didn't ask about She-Hulk and didn't want anything to do with She-Hulk, didn't care, and, loved her for her. And, now he's gone. And he never responds. And they ask her, like, so what did you text? And again, the way they respond, guys don't respond like that.
Hey. Getting a little worried. Just want to know you're okay. Blushing smile emoji.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. I was freaking out, okay?
It's like a real bad look.
I know it's a bad look, man-bull. I don't need you.
Guys would not respond like that. And then they point out the obvious fact. He hasn't contacted you in the last 3 or 4 days. He's ghosted you. You went on a date like every day last week. He slept with you, and then he ghosted you. And then you haven't heard from him. He's ghosted you. Get over it. Get the fuck over it. Does it suck? Yes. Yeah, it sucks. Get the fuck over it. Be an adult. Move the fuck on. I say that, and there's some people who are like, man, fuck you. That hurts. It does. But the sun still comes up the next day. It doesn't stop rising just because somebody ghosted you. It sucks. It does. Move on to somebody better than that. God. And the entire group is like, you know what? Let's go find this guy. Let's kick his ass. They and they're like, you know what? You should find someone better than him. You're good for you. Like everything was so like, guys don't talk like that. Only girls talk like that. Girls talk like that. Guys don't. And everything was so cliche. Again, we have Blonsky, who doesn't do anything. He doesn't transform. You keep waiting you keep expecting this long con. Nothing happened. And then the last scene. And so literally everything that happened, this was a complete waste of an episode. Literally nothing in this episode should have happened. This fucking episode. Fuck this episode. Excuse me. Because so on the night that Josh sleeps with Jen. See, this is where the long con comes in. So the reason why Josh approached her at the wedding is because he was a plant. He was put there by whoever's in this lab with this huge gauge needle, and he was there to make contact with her, to get her to like him so that they can start dating, to eventually that he could just sleep with her. The reason being is so that he can get in close with her and be there when she's unconscious, where then he could take this giant gauge needle that's like thicker than a Sharpie marker, like twice as thick as that, and stab it into her to get her blood. Yes. The end of this episode is a flashback to the night that he slept over, where he gets up out of the bed, he starts walking out, and he texts to somebody a bunch of emojis implying that he got her blood. What the fuck? How the fuck? Doesn't make fucking sense on so many levels. Pisses me the fuck off. Because, again, this needle, this fucking needle, that's like this thick. And somehow, Jen, Hulk or not, missed that. Did not feel him stabbing her with a needle, with like a 4 or 5 inch long needle that was like an inch thick, stabs it into her, somehow doesn't feel it, doesn't wake up, next morning, doesn't notice that she's bleeding, or she doesn't like my shoulders, or like something's like sore because, you know, someone jabbed a freaking drill bit basically into my skin. Yes! Sorry, sorry, that was new. That was different. But anyway, yeah. Hence why I'm so pissed, because the ending, like, nothing in this episode should have happened. Literally nothing. Nothing should have happened. This whole touchy-feely thing, oh my God. But yeah, Jen, they get her blood at the end of this episode. 2 more episodes left in this series, and they finally get her blood. Something that they tried to do 6 episodes ago, and they finally succeeded now. And who knows what's going to happen, but they've had it for 3 days now. But again, Jen didn't feel it. Jen didn't wake up when he stabbed a giant freaking needle into her. Didn't wake up. Didn't have any wounds the next morning. That's it. Fuck this. Fuck this series. Fuck this show. Fuck D+. I don't care. Fucking hate this series. This is, I can point at this, and this from now until D+ tops itself, this is now the benchmark. This is it. This is the bar for everything bad on TV. This will be what everything is compared to moving forward. Anyway, there are 2 episodes left, and I've got no hope for anything. Like Daredevil's supposed to show. Who the fucking cares? Nothing can save this episode or this series. Nothing. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Talk to you later. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please hit like and subscribe. It'd be greatly appreciated. If you didn't like what you saw, well, I appreciate you watching all the way to the end, and I hope you come back, because maybe I'll have a video in the future that you do like. Other than that, if anyone out there has anything that they wish that I would review, please let me know, and I'll try and get to it. Other than that, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.